Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with where's Gal? Oh, what happened to Gal? I guess Gal dropped out. His problem with the computer. Oh well, he'll be back. Um, our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype. And today's show is there's Gal. He just came back.
Just something happened. I don't know.
It's fine. Internet. Today's show is made possible by vMix software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Spence is out of town again, but I think that's the last time that he's going out, so he'll probably be back next Sunday. I don't know what's going on with Mike and Nick, but these are busy people that apparently work on the weekend and they're tired in the morning. I know Mike is listening though. So I went yesterday, took car, went uptown, and started taking apart. I took apart the equipment rack. I mean, that was this has been. I've been there since mid 90s. And you know, you used to it kind of, and I went and I was kind of sad doing it. I was glad to do it, but it was kind of a sad atmosphere, you know, to see all this equipment going down and disconnect but it's all good. I just need to go one more time to get the rest of it, and it will be fine. And as we can see, everything is working, and this is now working on a new server in a different place, and there's no difference. Everything is great. It's just faster. So I'm fine with that. Got a bunch of equipment though in the office, and put some in storage as far as servers and routers and stuff like that. I'm going to try and sell it. I will see if I can work myself up to. Okay, yeah, let go of this. But yeah, this is a historic day for Delta Force, and it's good. Yes, Arnie, it is cheaper. It's a lot cheaper. So finally, the sun is out. It's been quite a few days that it was kind of like cloudy, and every now and then it rains a little bit, but sun is out, blue sky. Very, very nice. Okay, so who's here now? I can. Hey, Mike.
Hello.
Well, hello. What's going on?
Mm,
Good.
mm.
Mm.
That good?
Probably 50-50. There's some good mixed in with it. That's good. Just trying to get this mess behind me cleaned up. See all the equipment missing off the top table.
It's okay.
Uh-huh.
It takes time, Mike.
Oh,
It's all right. It's fine.
I did have one good discovery. We had to replace all the ductwork in my upstairs this week.
Mm-hmm.
It took them 5 days to do it. It was so bad, and moving and changing things. We found out. Do you see this? You see this knee wall directly behind me?
Yeah.
All that space inside there is open. Tremendous amount of storage space in there. So a lot of this crap that's been sitting here since I've been in this house. So even some of it today is going to be moved up under there
What you
because
mean?
it's
Did you fix access to it?
well, they have to, there's something about code I don't understand. If a space in a house is of a certain size, it has to have access. I don't know if that's an outside wall. I don't know what the code is. I have no idea. But each one of these already has a little, see if I can figure out how to do this right here.
Yeah.
There is a panel on the side in that alcove.
Okay.
There's a
So
little panel right where my finger is.
so there is access.
Yes.
Okay.
The interesting thing is that they had the former air conditioning system had ducts going through that access area,
Mm-hmm.
going through the wall into the access area. But when they redesigned the system, they took those ducts out. They're not used. So now I can pull all that out, and that space is now completely open.
And
It's
is it
I'm elated over.
semi finished kind of that you can store stuff, or you need to do work?
Absolutely, solidly floored. It's got 3/4 inch flooring boards going all the way
Wow.
to the outside walls.
Nice.
Yep, and, it's like I was talking to the AC guys about it, and I said, "Well," he said, "Well, what are you gonna put up under there? Why are you gonna put it under there?" And I said, "Well, I have some stuff that I'm not gonna get rid of. Don't
Mm-hmm.
care what Amnon says, don't care what Gall says, don't care what you say, I'm not getting rid of it.
Yeah.
But once everything I put in there, the note will be to my kids that when I'm gone, if you want to go through this and find some interesting stuff, have at it. If you don't, then everything in here can go to the dump."
Yeah.
I've got a lot of my father's World War II papers and things like that that I'm going to store. That, I mean, one day I would like to catalog that stuff, put it in binders, make sure scans I've got of everything. But I just don't think I mean, I don't think I have enough years left. Hopefully I've got another 20 years, and that won't scratch the surface.
Yeah. I think stuff like that, I would tell my kid, you take to the museum and let them decide what to do with it.
Yeah, well, the museum's not going to want my crap, but
I don't
that's
know.
so anyway, we'll see.
Yeah.
I've
Nice.
got, for example,
You, you,
on this corner over here. No, why can't I get this right? Over here,
yeah.
all this stuff down in here, there are a lot of DVDs, VCRs, cassette decks.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them probably are not worth anything, but the problem is I've got hundreds of tapes that I want to transfer,
Right.
and it's possible that they would play better on one machine than another. So I can't throw them out just yet, but yeah, we'll work it out.
The bottom line and the main thing is you're making progress, and that's positive.
That's the first time in 2 years.
No, it's
Every
not.
time something comes up, like I set up the woodworking downstairs, and that's been a blast. I've enjoyed that. Uh, I don't know. It was too hot to work out there a lot of the summer, and now all of a sudden it's too cold to work out there. So, but we'll see. It'll be
It's
fun.
all
But
good. It's all good.
and once I learn how to do nice looking built-in cabinets and all that, then a lot of these different tables and bookcases and things like that, all of that will be gotten rid of, and then I'll put in stuff that all matches, and it should look pretty decent up here. I'm actually building a little studio, kind of like yours.
Nice. What you mean behind the wall?
No, right where I'm sitting. The the desk will actually be right over here,
Uh-huh.
and the camera will be pointing at the back wall over here.
Okay. And
So
there are no windows on these walls, right?
no,
Good.
You know, I hadn't even thought about that, but that's a great point.
Yeah, if you had windows, you have to cover them.
But that did screw me up because I was going to put a refrigerator in this alcove right here.
And it's too narrow.
Can't well, no, it's perfect. I built the platform for it and
Yeah,
everything. The
but
problem is that if I put the refrigerator in there, I can't get it underneath the sides.
then why not put it on the other side?
Well, I think that maybe that this alcove
Yeah.
over here, if I put a door in there, I think maybe that all that storage space is available. And what's really attractive about that storage space is you don't have to go so far into it. You can't pile stuff into it that you can't get to what's in the back.
If it was up to me, I would put the door right on the front, not on the side.
Nope. That
Why?
uses up too much wall space. Because see right here with on this back wall, that's
Yeah.
probably going to end up being a desk going from wall to wall.
Okay, that's a different story.
Yeah, and there'll be things there. I'm not sure what. I don't know if it'll be a work desk. But Arnie's right. I'm not a hoarder. I'm an archivist. And in all joking aside, I
Well,
mean, there's a difference. A hoarder. I at some point I think I'm a hoarder, but then I look to see what a hoarder really is. I mean, a hoarder. What was it that I saw on? I was watching some TV show. I think it may have been Dateline NBC. They were talking about this person was a hoarder. She had 250 pounds of cheese in the attic. I don't
uh,
have over 200 in the attic.
hey Nick. Um. Okay, so what is on the other side of the centerpiece behind you, the other alcove? What is on? Yeah, but what's on the other side of the alcove? I mean, where you have you have a door to the middle one on the right side, right?
Okay.
Behind. No,
What
no, 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 no. That's not. You said that if you put the refrigerator in the other alcove,
right here.
yeah, then you're going to lose the access
To
to
these sides, yes.
yeah. But what happens if you put it? What happens if you put it where you want to, and you put the access to both the left and the right, the big part and the small part, on the same side in the other alcove, so you don't need to get to the
There are
access.
tons of options. I mean,
Yeah.
theoretically, there's no reason I can't put the refrigerator in this corner. And it's all it is a little dorm refrigerator. And then I
Oh,
can build
oh, oh, oh.
a
Okay.
table to go across it and even put a filing cabinet. I've got a little 2-drawer filing cabinet I need to put somewhere. I've got 3 filing cabinets, a 4-drawer and
Well,
2 drawers
when
that
you're done with all the stuff behind you, we'll have another discussion about that.
yeah,
Because
well,
first you have to get
mark my
ready for.
words, you may even start seeing a difference very soon.
But I'm hoping so. I've been looking for that.
Nick, tell them about it. Nick saw how much stuff I took out of here and put into my new workshop for electronics.
Uh-huh.
And this is after I've moved it all out and the other room is full.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean the other room is full?
I created a separate workshop.
In the garage?
No, upstairs, a room I've never been into
Oh,
before.
okay. All right. Hey, Nick.
Hi.
Well, there you are.
I can confirm. I just started stealing stuff from Mike's. Then it's helping him out. It's helping me out and it's helping him out. I just started taking stuff, money. It doesn't matter what doesn't matter what it was.
He didn't even work
Firearms.
hard enough to realize that stuff is booby trapped.
Oh man, fire that gun, blows up my face. Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know. I don't know anything about all that.
Yes, Mike has made great progress. He's got a very nice. I'm very envious of his little electronics workroom. It's set up very nicely. It's practical. See, that's the key here.
Yeah,
it's practical. It works. It's not. I've got impractical setups. They're not realistic.
Nice, Mike.
This whole entertainment system behind me is totally useless.
Throw it in the trash.
Thought it was a good idea. Impractical. I can't see any of the computer stuff when I'm trying to either stream a video game over there or do something else. Totally impractical.
Well, you have no choice.
That's not true. I could have laid it out differently.
You do?
But it's practical. Yeah, I mean, I could if I wanted to. I don't care enough to move it though.
Okay. Fine, I tried. Anyway,
Anyway,
God.
It's like Amnon's place. Amnon's not a hoarder. And the reason he's not, because I saw this, where was it? I saw the story. It was somebody hired one of these junk removal and organizational services to come in. The guy said, I'm a hoarder and I need help. So the lady walks in. She said, what's the worst room? She walks into his room where he has all of his books. And she looked around and looked it over and saw what he had. And she said, well, what kind of books do you collect and what have you? And so he told her, and then she started saying, well, do you have this book? Yes. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. Well, what about this book? Where is it? Well, it's right here. She said, sir, you don't need my services. You are completely organized. You have what you want. It's your stuff. You have a lot of it, but it's organized, cataloged. She said, you don't have a problem. You're a collector.
Yeah, I don't know that I collect. I just
Well, but the problem you got, Amnon, I mean, you got some junk you ought to throw away, like those
Yeah.
computers you just put in storage. I'm paying $1,200 a year to store stuff that's worth about $400.
okay, I can deal with that.
So, but the problem you've got is you've been there so long
Yeah.
that you have found perfect fits for every tiny little thing. If you got something you want to save, you go find a tiny little cubby hole and put it in there. So your stuff is very, very tightly packed in there,
That's a fact.
which is the way it was at my old house. And when I moved out of the old house into the one that's twice the size, I have less room. It fluffed up.
You
It's
should
like you take your clothes out of the washer. They're all nice and compact. You put them in the dryer and take them out of there. They're all take up twice the room.
There you go.
Mike, don't you know that whenever you add water to that stuff, it quadruples in size?
That's what I'm afraid of. I do have a computer story.
Okay.
Is this a computer show?
No, that's another show.
All right. So I'm Nick has been helping me set up vMix on a computer to originate a show for Greg Brannon and Bill LeMay, which I've been helping them with. And that's after the first 2 weeks, it's gone extremely well. And what I did was I bought the computer that I'm on right now is the same one I've had for a long time. It's an i7 Lenovo, 16 gig of memory, whole 9 yards. I said, this does everything I want it to do as fast as I am. So life is good. Well, I decided that since these things were now dirt cheap because they're old, I decided to buy a spare. I went on eBay, found exactly the same motherboard, exactly the same computer, whole 9 yards, and I bought it and just brought it here and let it sit. Well, on this, I needed to find out the laptop would not do what I wanted it to do, even though it's an i7. I then configured this spare computer with the idea that I could leave it over there. If I needed it, I can go get it because it wouldn't matter what he's using as long as he's set up to use something, which would not be a big deal. I got it over there, set it up. Everything works just great. Well, the problem with it is that the computer that I bought only had 4 gig of memory in it. And I wanted to make sure I had at least 16 gig because I didn't want any issues with video and recording all at the same time. The only computer I have 2 Lenovo's, an M91P and M92P. The M92, I really don't use that much, but it's in great shape and it's all set up in Word and Office and all that stuff on it. I took the memory out of that and put it into the spare computer, leaving me only 4 gig in my second computer. I then started thinking that, well, I need to look around and find 16 gig of memory to put it back, and then everything's back to normal. I've got a nice spare. Everything's good to go. I went on Craigslist, I think it was, yeah, and started looking around for 16 gig of memory. And unfortunately, there's not as much of it as readily available as I would hope. It's not around as much. But this lady listed that she had a computer that Intrex built for her. I forget what the description was, but the main thing was it had no hard drive, but it had a motherboard, video card, what have you, and 16 gig of memory. Okay, how much? And it said on there, $90 if you buy today.
You bought it.
Well, the memory was worth $90.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I figured if it's got an upgraded video card, anything would be better than what I've got in the computer I'm on right now. So I'll take the video card out of that and put it in here. Anyway, it was only about 10 minutes from my office. So I met the lady over there. I figured it was going to be some scammer. It was this hot computer. But this young lady drives up in a Prius, and I still met with her, and very, very well spoken, educated, and I looked at it and it looked great. Everything was fine. So I bought it from her. Well, I got it back. And this is an i7 3770 with an Asus Z something motherboard. The video card is a GT4 something. I don't know what it is. It's an old card, but it's an upgraded video card. 16 gig of memory. And I said, I'm not going to take this computer apart. So I had an extra SSD drive. I put it in there. And I said, well, now what am I going to do for an operating system? So I installed Windows 10 on it, and hoping that Windows 10 would recognize that Windows 10 had been on that hardware before and it would authorize, but it didn't. Made an image of that and wiped it out, went back to Windows 7. And I said, well, now what am I going to do for Windows 7 key? And I looked on the computer. I did not see the tag for the license key. And then I brought in the box, the motherboard box out of my car. I brought it in, opened it up, and there was the Windows 7 disk. I looked around for the product key, couldn't find it, and then I noticed that it was in the wrong spot on the case. I typed it in there, boom, Windows 7 Pro, fully authorized. So that worked out great. So anyway, now I have this computer that is almost identical to the faster Lenovo that I have here. And I don't know. Oh, and it's in a beautiful server type case. I can put probably 6 hard drives in it. Full heavy duty power supply. I mean, this thing probably was a gamer computer. And I just noticed it's got, with the video card, it's got actually a total of 4 video ports on it. And it may have DisplayPort and or HDMI on it that I can't see from here. So I can probably put multiple monitors on it. This would have been a perfect server computer. I built a server computer last year, and I don't have it hooked up yet because I don't have it organized, but this would have been a perfect computer. I just $90. Oh, the only bad part about it is, as I was getting ready to do a backup of an image of the hard drive, I noticed that the DVD drive stopped reading. It would just ding, 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 trying to read. And so this would have been Friday night, I think, about 10:30. It was either Thursday or Friday night, about 10:30. I went on to Amazon.com and found that they had a DVD drive, $20, same day delivery. And they said, we'll deliver on Saturday, I believe. It was one day, but it was next day as well. And there were a couple of things I needed. So I placed an order over $35 at 10:30. The darn thing got here about 10 o'clock the next morning.
Possible.
I know. And then so I installed it. Everything worked perfectly. Got it all updated, set up, good to go. 1 o'clock, the computer was finished.
Very nice.
So I hit the jackpot on that one.
Yeah. That's great. And so now you have the laptop with vMix.
Well, I've got about 5 laptops.
No, the one we're talking about, the ones that you mentioned that Greg was using.
Right. I have 3 identical versions of that one. It's an i7.
So you got that one with vMix on it. You have the desktop that he's using now that he's using vMix on it. And it works better than the laptop.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's going to keep that and use that as his show, whatever.
I may take this one that I just got over there.
What kind of i7 is on the one that he's using?
They're both 3770s.
Okay. Well, then why would you want to do that?
Why would I want to take the new one instead of the Lenovo? Because the Lenovo is my spare that I can not even put more memory on it, and I can just go ahead and store it like I had originally planned to do, never planning to use it.
And why can't you save the one that you have there if it's got more drive space? And
if I go 16 gig of memory, it's probably going to cost me $100. 80 to $100 shopping around. So if I bought this computer as a spare in case this one, by the way, it turns out it's not exactly the same motherboard. I'm not positive I can move the drive over if it happens, but I think I can. Hopefully it'll be close enough.
You can.
And so anyway, what I need to do is to take this, the one he's using, and take the memory out of it and put it back into my main computer, take this one like I was originally planning to do, and put it back here, never to be touched unless the computer I'm on blows up. Because this is my main computer. If this thing goes bad, I would have a problem for a while.
Well, all right. Okay, that's it. Yeah, that's fine.
I've got a I've come to the conclusion that 16 gigabytes of memory may no longer be the minimum in some cases.
Well, it's not the minimum.
Well, yeah,
The
but
optimum.
no. Well, I don't even know if it. I don't know if when you're building a computer now, if you should put 32 gigabytes of memory in it. I've got
What would-
16. I've got 16 gigs of memory in this system.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm playing games on it, so that's a little bit different. But I'm playing a game, and when I've got a lot of Chrome tabs open, like I've got right now, my memory utilization is almost 100%.
That's ridiculous.
So obviously, that's not everybody, but Chrome itself. I mean, God Almighty, Chrome is eating away all my memory.
Oh, I'm having terrible problems with Chrome.
It's not just Chrome. I mean, it's the Firefox is the same thing. To get the fast performance, they've got to
Yeah.
split the tabs off into different threads to keep everything moving nice and quick. So I don't blame them, but
No.
if you're doing a lot of multitasking, for a while now, 8 has not been the ideal. But I don't. I mean, I don't know. I'm contemplating.
I never check to see what's the utilization of.
I can tell because the computer will stutter. I had to just try to click to
Yeah.
another tab. I'll be damned if it didn't take 10 seconds to switch tabs.
Yeah, that's a different story.
So I just if you're doing a lot of heavy multitasking, 32 may be the new.
Yeah, but you keep 200 tabs open.
Yeah.
I have 5 tabs open right now. I do. I have 5. I just turned my computer on. I have 5 tabs.
Well, that's
open.
right. You have 5, but by the end of the day, you'll have 200.
I have 5 tabs open right now, and my memory utilization is 89%. Now,
You got a problem.
to be clear, the game I'm playing is eating up a lot of my memory.
Oh, okay.
But Chrome itself is using almost 2 gigs just having the Hangout and the video playback and a YouTube video open.
Let's see what mine's doing.
Oh, I mean, here.
Don't get me wrong. The game I'm playing is using almost 7 gigs, so I'm not.
All right,
not minimizing that, but
I've got Chrome open for the Hangout. I've got vMix running, and I've got Skype running.
Yep.
And it's showing RAM usage 13%, and it's 16 gig.
yeah. But you're not.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tabs open, 3 tabs open in Vivaldi. Skype is open, and I'm using 41%.
Yeah. See, look at that. I mean, you're using half your memory. You're not even doing anything.
Hey, Gal.
Well,
Gal, how about you?
Yeah. So I have 50% CPU usage. I have mostly by Firefox and Chrome, and Rambox. So I have 3 different browsers open. Together, they take around 3.5. Yeah, 3.5 gigabytes.
So imagine this. Imagine this, guys. All of you now open a program like SketchUp. You've pretty much eaten all of your memory. I mean,
Well,
look
let's
at
open SketchUp.
look at what you're idling at. Amnon doesn't have a lot open on that system, but Mike, Gal, I mean, you guys are idling around 50, meaning you open anything that's somewhat resource intensive, you're up to now 80, 85%, 90% memory utilization.
Well,
Is 16 no longer is 32 now what the optimum memory for somebody that's doing a lot of multitasking?
I just opened SketchUp, and the memory use didn't change.
Do you have anything? Do you have a project open?
Yeah.
That's I thought SketchUp was a heavy memory
Nick,
program. I could have been wrong.
Nick, I think I would just rephrase what you said. That the optimum for a machine that you're also doing heavy duty gaming like you do is 32. But for your average person today, if you use just Office and everything else is on the internet, online and stuff, 16 is more than enough.
Well, no, I agree with that. But for a power user,
Yeah, power users. Okay.
But when I built this computer as a power user, I thought, oh, 16 gigs of RAM. I couldn't possibly need any more than that. I think that's changed.
No, I agree with you. If I were a gamer like you are, I would absolutely have the maximum amount of memory that my motherboard would support.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be looking at Task Manager.
Right.
So I need to build a new computer. I just need to find the money to build it.
Yeah,
I think it's a multifaceted thing too. I think it's also a video card.
I'm on what, Mike?
I'm not gonna give you the money.
But I thought that was interesting when I was trying to figure out what. Even my CPU right now is tapped out at 99%.
That's insane. What are the specs on your computer?
486SX.
Shut up.
Is it a laptop?
Oh God, no. It is an i7 4790K, 16 gigabytes of memory.
There's no reason.
There is. I'm playing a video game. My video games. This game.
But you are not playing a game, are you?
I'm playing a game right now. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Yeah. No, while we're talking, I think this is a good test because I've got a video call running, which is using up a lot of resources. I've got whatever CDN this is using. Game running. I'm at my CPU is at 97%. My memory is at 86. My GPU is at 95.
CPU usage 28,
30,
28, 29, 27.
Yep.
30, yeah.
There's nothing. I wouldn't update any of that. I mean,
that's a shame.
You're just pouring perfume on a pig.
Oh, that's a good one. I've never heard that before.
Well, you can use it if you like.
Oh man, that's a really good one. Perfume on a pig. I like that.
Or lipstick on a pig, some people say.
Heard that one. Perfume on a pig. So yeah, probably time for a new. This computer was built right after we started Infection. So
Donovan saying definitely go with 32 if you're a power user. The average user should be fine with 16. Well, the truth is most business users are perfectly fine with 8.
Absolutely.
If you're running a lot of web, if you're running more than one monitor and a couple web browsers, I don't know if you should get 8. I really don't know.
I wouldn't now because memory is reasonably priced right now.
Yeah, it wasn't a couple of years ago.
No, you get it now, and your computer's going to last you another year or two.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now I've thought about upgrading these computers to 32 gig, and in fact, if I may do, if I come across another deal like this, I may do that because I don't know, and maybe you can tell me, Nick, but if I were to go out today and to buy a brand new computer, I'm assuming i7 is still the fastest processor.
You can get I mean, you could get an i9 if you wanted to really go cutting edge, but
well, I didn't know there was an i9, but those are available now.
They are, but they're outrageous.
Well, money's no object. I know I'm not. So let's say I got an i9 with 32 gig of memory, SSD, fastest SSD.
Sean found a deal for an SSD yesterday. He was looking at, there was a terabyte SSD from AData for $156.
How good are they though?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't put my AData in yet, but I mean, it's memory or it's solid state.
Donovan says his business users struggle with 8.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it. Absolutely. Arnie's got 77 tabs open on Google iMac, 6.78 gigabytes.
I didn't know Google had an iMac.
I built this computer in February of 2015. I would say I've gotten a pretty good life out of it.
Shoot, I've got mine in 2012.
True. You're not doing even with Infection, I've started to notice I'm getting some. I don't know if you ever noticed this, but you're doing the show and everything just kind of freezes for like half a second.
No, never.
See,
that's the thing. Remember,
when was the last time you aired dust out of it?
It's a good point, Paul.
That is a very good point.
You know, I do need to put a new hard. I do need to clone my SSD to a bigger one. I should. You make a good point.
Yeah.
How much space do you have left on the SSD?
It's 4 gigabytes. That could also be a problem.
You think?
Say, let me look at my debt. I'm in bad shape right now. Let's see. I've got
Now,
something must have cleaned up. I've got 21 gigs free on my C drive. I've got 12 on my second drive, which is a 3
The second's
terabyte.
irrelevant. Is how
It's also
much?
3 gigabytes free. It's full of games.
How much? How big is your second drive?
3 terabytes.
Wow.
It's full games though. But that's an easy fix. I can just uninstall games. That'd be fine. Yeah, I don't know. Something must have cleaned. I wonder if C cleaner ran or something. Because
does Windows 10 allows you to set up which is the swap?
I'm sure
I
it's the C
I
drive.
think it picks the faster drive.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's got to be the
so
C.
there's no way that you can get a cheap
I don't know
128
about
gig.
that.
Huh?
No, I mean I got another SSD I need to put in here. I just haven't had
No,
the time
I'm
to do
no.
it.
My point is to get an SSD,
Yeah.
a cheap one, 128, 64 gig,
Mhm.
and put it in the system and tell Windows this is your swap, and you never touch it,
You
so
might
you
be
never
able
have
to.
to.
yeah, you can do that.
Okay. Yeah, so this way it doesn't matter when you're adding programs because Windows still has full use of that one cheap drive, and
Yeah.
you don't
Either
have
way,
to upgrade.
for my use case, this computer is it's coming towards the end of its life. It's got an older GPU, which is not running the most recent games at where they should be running.
What
So-
GPU do you have?
960.
There
Okay,
goes
well, don't-
Donovan is
don't-
saying 240 gigabyte A data, $30.
I've got a 480 gig
Yeah.
A data sitting on my desk. I haven't found time to pull it out and pull the computer out and I might do that today. I don't know.
919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype. Call
Hey,
in,
what?
participate, guys.
Most computer talk we've had in 6 months.
So what
It
else is
almost-
going on?
It almost turned into an Amazon talk, but then they were okay.
No, I try to be fair. Look, I'm going to dog on them whenever they screw up, but when they get it right, I try to make sure I acknowledge that as well. I mean, that whole thing just, honest to God, the experiences I've had with them when I placed that order, I think it was Friday night. When I fully expected them to miss the delivery date. Next thing I know, it says your package has been delivered. And then I get 2 texts after that saying it's scheduled for delivery today. And then one that says your package has been shipped in that order.
I think they listened to the show last week and they knew not to piss you off.
They couldn't care less.
Hey, God, what kind? I know your son is a little bit of a gamer. What specs do you have on his computer? And what does this have?
Hey! It's my computer.
Well, I thought you have
It's
two.
my
Wait, do
computer.
you not have 2 different computers there?
No,
Oh,
we
I'm sorry.
have another laptop for.
I thought he had a little.
No, he uses my computer, man.
I thought he had a little workstation next to yours. Okay, so what kind of
No.
specs are on your computer? Go.
It's an Alienware Aurora 5, I think that was the name they gave it. It's P180, 16 gigs with an i7. I don't remember what model. Bought it about, it's to be 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago.
And it's still doing the job.
Yeah, I had to call. I had to replace a few parts. All were warranty. But yeah, still does the job.
What GPU do you have?
NVIDIA 180, P180.
Oh, you have a 1080. Okay.
1080,
Yeah. So
yeah, I splurged on it.
That's what I want to do.
I wouldn't do it though. Again, I can tell you, it's the Alienware. It's not worth the bucks.
No, the Alienware is not. But splurging on the GPU is I made this mistake. A lot of people make this mistake. They go with the generation behind GPU to save a couple $100, and it ends up biting you in the ass on the back end, which is what I'm dealing with right now. Because
yeah, if you want the latest games,
yeah. A couple of years ago, it was fine.
Yeah, but now
these new games are coming. I'm playing this new Call of Duty game, and God Almighty, my GPU is taxed. I mean, I'm I'm pegging and I'm running terrible frame rates with low quality. It sucks.
So the best deal I found for computer games for a gamer rig that I don't need to build on my own, right? That's Costco. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they have they have an amazing deal, right? That you can't beat it. I don't think building it on my own I'll get that cheap. So and they have all the best hardware in, like I mean, spec wise. I don't know about quality wise, right? But I the next time I'll need to buy a computer, I'll just buy one out of the shelf from them.
Hey, Nick,
Yes, sir.
they're talking here about, I mean, again, it's like gaming, that Steam VR
Mhm.
is introducing a new feature called motion smoothing
Yep.
that will give PCs with low-end hardware the power to deliver VR experiences more smoothly.
Yeah.
It functions like motion smoothing for TV and asynchronous space warp for Oculus devices, which are frame rate smoothing techniques that generate synthetic frames between two real ones in order to
They're
avoid the
blending
stuttery
pixels.
experience.
Yep. They're blending pixels.
So they should have, I mean, but this is for a VR.
Yeah.
Why can't they do it just for a monitor? I don't understand. Why would it work for VR?
Well, but you wouldn't want it for it, but depend on what you're doing. See, when VR, resolution typically isn't that big of a deal per se. Well, it is a big detail is not that big of a deal. Right? You're not doing something that requires incredibly fine detail. I'm playing a game like I'm playing right now, this new Call of Duty game. Precision is of the utmost importance. So you wouldn't want the game or whatever generating synthetic frames or blending frames together because you wouldn't be able to tell what the hell is going on.
Okay.
But no, for the VR stuff, absolutely. Because you're mostly playing, you're mostly playing games where you're not dealing with tiny little details. It's normally larger things.
Well, back here to another thing, and it goes. Some users on Reddit and Google support forums are reporting an issue in which taking a photo using Google Camera occasionally fails to save. The issue appears to be widespread, affecting original Pixel phones as well as the Pixel 2 and 2 XL. So if you have a phone like that, and you say, "Well, what happened to the picture I took?" There is a problem. So just to be aware. And there's
That
some
problem on my iPhone.
it what?
I said I have that problem on my iPhone from
There
time to
is
time.
something here, but the iPhone.
Just take a picture.
the
Now, where did it go?
Yeah, take another picture.
Yeah, sometimes I take it. Well, whenever anything I do troubleshooting wise, any error codes or whatever I get on anything, always take a picture of it. Sometimes I'll be like, I know I took a picture of this. Can't find it. I don't know.
I don't know where it is, but there was something in here about a Google phone. I mean, iPhone that did the same. But talking about Apple, I mean, there was some few things about Apple this week that kind of cropped up. It says Apple has not documented some high severity bugs it patched that were reported to it by Google Project Zero researchers. It says while it's good news that Apple beat Project Zero 90 days deadline for patching or disclosing the bugs it finds, the groups recently argued that they practice endangered users by not fully informing them why an update should be installed. And besides, I mean, if there's something really severe and it lasts for 90 days and you know about it, Why don't you let your users, don't do such thing because
Well,
we're working
but
on it.
yeah, but it you're letting the good guys and the bad guys know.
Well,
That's why they don't tell them.
So that's I mean, but they did fix it, so that's nice. And here is something and I'm not an Apple user, but I don't know if that helps. It says Apple on Wednesday began allowing users in the US to download a copy of all their data that they have stored with the company from a single online portal. US users will be able to download data such as all their address book contacts, calendar appointments, music streaming preferences, and detail about past Apple product repairs. Previously, customers could get their data by contacting Apple directly. In May, when Apple first launched the online privacy portal, it only allowed US users to either correct their data or delete their Apple accounts. So now you can go and download all that data and store it somewhere on your computer, apparently. Well, and that's nice. It's your data. You should be able to get it. Right?
It's your data, right?
No.
It's not only nice, it is a necessity.
Well.
I mean, the GDPR in Europe talks exactly about this.
What do you mean GDPR in Europe? We have to abide by GDPR more than Europe has to abide by it.
Not for you. So they must abide for GDPR, but for European citizens. So you and me aren't covered.
No, but I have to every website that I host, everything that I do on Delta Force, I have to abide by GDPR because they say
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. But what I mean is GDPR. What it does, right? Let's put it this way: U.S. citizens, they benefit from the same ruling, because if a company works with both U.S. citizens and EU citizens, it'll probably implement it for everyone. But what the rules say, right, is that it is your data, right, and the company must abide by providing everything they collect about you, and by allowing you to request deletion of that,
right,
in less than 2 weeks, right? There's a time frame. There's a specific law about how long can you take to answer, right, and provide an answer, and when you don't comply, a fine, automatic.
Yeah.
So it's finally something that's effective, but that's why these companies are doing that. Sounds like Apple is just really, really, really late to the
game.
To the game, yeah.
That's nothing new.
Nope.
What was that, Nick?
That's just funny. I did the iOS 12 update yesterday on my phone.
Okay. It's a good thing you don't have kids.
Why?
Story goes that the parental controls in iPhone's new iOS 12 are blocking innocuous sexual education content on Safari, while allowing websites like the white supremacist Daily Stormer and searches for bomb-making instructions through its filter. The settings found under screen time in the new iOS 12 are meant to give parents greater controls over how their kids use their phones unsupervised, including filters for explicit content and content rating and restrictions, with the options to limit adult websites. As tested by Motherboard, the filter blocks long-standing education sites like Scarleteen and O.School, but allow sites like the Daily Stormer and extremist neo-Nazi white supremacist platform.
I bet you it allows any Antifa website, but we wouldn't find that in the article, because that would actually require somebody to get their head out of their ass and do some reporting. What is this website? What is this neo-Nazi website called?
That's the Daily Stormer. Don't you remember the Daily Stormer?
No, the Daily Stormer. What is this? Let's see.
That's where I think that's why Gab was something about banned. I don't remember. There was something. There was a big controversy about it.
Hmm.
It's just interesting that the thing would be allowing that, and that's nothing new. I mean, even in the early days, there was a program. Mike, do you remember a program called Net Nanny?
Sure.
Net Nanny did the same thing. Anything that you had, I mean, breast cancer, you could not look up breast cancer.
Well, how many 8-year-olds need to?
Well, I mean, it's just in school, and they may talk about it, and they may, I don't know. I
Why
remember it.
8-year-old? Why not 14?
What?
14. It's already relevant to talk about.
It was just I remember that there was a big stink about the fact that they did not allow that.
Hmm.
And where are they
So,
now?
yeah, where are they? I don't know. I have no idea.
No,
And
the problem there's a difference between trying to control what would be called sexual, salacious, or that type of content. But what these guys are doing is using it to control political speech. And what they do is that anytime they want to suppress opinions they disagree with, they just label it as kook fringe stuff, and then the Googles and the Apples and all that buy into it, and you only get the CBS, NBC, ABC version, or even worse, CNN or MSNBC. It's a scary thing. There will be an alternate path to information.
No, but in all seriousness, I mean, you're talking about this article. I cannot believe that their article, the way that they're using this child filter is that you can access a neo-Nazi website. Like that's their filter of choice. I just, I don't know. I find that to be a little bit ridiculous.
Especially whenever their beliefs are most closely aligned with the Nazis.
it may be that they, I don't know if they're using AI
But it
to
seems,
do that. I don't know if
yeah,
they have a list of blacklisted stuff. I have no idea. But
seems like
it's
the use for a child filter would be to block sexual content. Seems like that would be the use of it, not to block. I mean, neo-Nazi or anything like that.
yeah.
And
I mean,
that just
neo-Nazi
seems
or not,
that,
it's
that just seems like I don't think I'd write my article based on. Oh my God, there's a form about the Holocaust deniers, and you can still access that on your child filter. It's really, I mean, that I don't think people are installing the child filter for that. I could be wrong. I don't have a kid, but I don't know.
yeah.
It seems a little bit extreme.
So who's using Winamp?
I use it.
You know, there's a new one. They finally updated it. The Winamp,
Oh, it's got the terrible UI.
the world's most famous media player, has released version 5.8
Coolio.
to make it compatible with today's modern operating systems such as Windows 8.1 and Windows 10. That's from Bleeping Computer. And they said that there hasn't been a new update released since 2014
Oh my God.
when Radionomy purchase went up from AOL. Some other new features include standalone audio player support, an auto full screen option for videos, updates scroll bars and buttons, and bug fixes. So if you use Winamp, you want to update yours.
Did it at the office.
I remember using it when Napster was
Slogan, kick the llama's ass or something like that.
Yeah.
a what?
It's their slogan.
For WinUp. Yeah.
Yeah. Kicks the llama's ass.
Oh. What else?
Can you
919.
play?
Oh,
Can you play any music recorded by a conservative artist on Winamp?
it says here that conservatives are blocked.
Okay, good.
It's got a built-in child filter.
It says you cannot play music on it if you're wearing red.
Damn.
Tim wants to know who's using Windows 8.1. Hopefully, no one.
Oh, I know somebody's just using it, Mike. So do you.
Who?
We were there last weekend.
I don't remember. Where'd we go?
That's Studio. I don't want to say their name.
We can go to Amnon's.
All right.
Okay, now.
Oh, yeah. I got it.
Oh. Now, here is something to worry about. Security researchers have found flaws in 4 popular connected storage drives, that they say could let hackers access a user private and sensitive data. They say the software running on 3 of the devices they tested, Netgear Stora, Seagate, Home, and Median LifeCloud, can allow an attacker to remotely read, change, and delete data without requiring a password. Yibello, who shared the research with TechCrunch this week and posted the finding Friday, said that many other devices may be at risk. The software in question here is HipServe, which is built by tech company Accentra, who was largely to blame for 3 of those flaws. They found HipServe in Linux-based and uses several web technologies, including PHP, to power the web interface. But they found that bugs could let them read files on the drive without any authentication. It also meant they could run any command they wanted as root, the built-in user account with the highest level of access, making the data on the device vulnerable to prying eyes or destruction. So again, this is on Netgear Stora, Seagate Home, and Median LifeCloud. If you have one of those, they did not mention anything about updates to patch these, but you may want to look it up on the manufacturer website and see if your connected storage, like a USB, Ethernet connected, you want to make sure that yours is safe. (919) 518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype. Call in, guys. Somebody call in. Let's talk.
They don't want to talk with us.
You what?
They don't want to talk with us.
Yeah.
But you know why? We're not giving them anything. I remember in Israel, the worst radio shows would be those where there will always be some sort of prize at the end, just to lure people in, and people they don't really want to be there. They want a prize.
Yeah, exactly.
Who doesn't want free stuff?
Yeah, when we used to give away stuff, boy, the
Well,
phone would ring off the hook.
We discussed hoarding, right? Maybe we can give some free stuff.
$400 to ship it. Oh, here's a 10,000 watt, a 10,000 VA battery backup. Weighs 450 pounds.
Hey, shipping isn't free. Shipping is never free.
Right, shipping is never.
Well, there you go. There goes your free giveaway.
Don't you know all of these things? Free. Only pay shipping and handling.
Yeah, yeah. Separate fee.
Separate
fee. Here's something.
We could auction off a lunch with Mike. That's what we should do.
Yeah, right.
Would you be interested in that, Mike?
I don't know what's in it for me.
You get to pay for lunch and have lunch with somebody.
Yes.
Let's see. With 95% of Americans owning a cell phone, it can feel like we've been calling, texting, and tweeting on the go forever. But the infrastructure supporting our cell phone has actually not been around that long. While we are now on 4G networks, it was only 35 years ago this week that Ameritech, now part of AT&T, launched 1G,
Oh boy.
or the first commercial cell phone network. That network, called the Advanced Mobile Phone System, AMPS, went online on October 13th, 1983, allowing people in the Chicago area to make and receive mobile calls for the first time. That's when Chicago was part of the world. Ameritech president Bob Barnett, who made the first call, decided to make the historic moment count by ringing Alexander Graham Bell's grandson. A little more than a year later, now we're talking 83, UK's Vodafone hosted its first commercial call on New Year's Day. Israel's Pelephone followed suit in 1986, followed by Australia in 1987. Isn't that amazing when you think about it now? Israel had cell phones before Australia?
Australia is a third world country.
It's amazing. I mean, you know,
They still have ADSL2 as like still their main primary internet.
You do?
No, no, it still is. Most of Australia is still on ADSL2.
Yeah.
They're super far behind internet wise. It was crazy.
Amazing that it's
That number seems low. That 95% of Americans.
I guess they're not counting the babies and kids and
Yeah, I would assume it's got to be
everybody.
Americans of a certain age.
Yeah.
That number just seems low though. I don't know. Does it say smartphone or cell phone?
It says cell phone.
Yeah. That seems low.
That may not include Obama phone.
Oh, well, that makes.
Then there you go. Yeah, that's it.
I don't know. It's just seems low. I don't know anybody that doesn't have a cell phone.
Brent,
do you know anybody? Do you know anybody that doesn't have a cell phone?
No.
Gal, Mike.
Well,
you're in a privileged class, Nick.
Brent is asking, what do we think, or the people in the chat also, of the new Spectrum Mobile?
Anybody try them?
I've never heard of it. What is it? Is that Spectrum has now gotten into the cell phone business?
Yes.
Gosh, let me rush and sign up with those losers.
But
if I had to switch cell phone providers tomorrow, I probably would get their service, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because they're reselling Sprint or whoever else's tower, T-Mobile, and if you bundle it with your home packages, save a crap ton of money. So if I needed a cell provider tomorrow, I'd probably go with them.
I don't know where Spectrum is how they provide mobile data.
They don't. They rent
everywhere.
the space.
Hmm?
They're renting the space just like Straight Talk Mobile and Cricket and any of these other companies. They're just renting the space.
It's interesting.
It's smart because they're all into the bundle thing. They're trying to get as many people to buy as many services as possible.
So what do you do when you don't want any of their service?
If you have an option where you don't have to have any of their services, you don't. But in my case, I don't have a choice. I have to have Spectrum for home internet. There's not another option. DSL's not even available here.
Yeah, but
Oh no, there is
Yeah.
options with cell phone, but I'm saying from a price standpoint, you can bundle their home internet and because I was on their website the other day looking at uh their internet packages. And so if I bundled that and whatever, it was very cheap.
But that's as long as you take TV with them, right?
No, this was just an internet and Spectrum Mobile plan. This was just,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Let's see. What else we have. I was talking with Gal earlier about all this tracking and the containers in Firefox and all that. And here is, I mean, a lot of people. Nick, do you use the Do Not Track in your browser?
No, I don't use Firefox either.
Well, that's not just Firefox.
No.
I mean, a
no,
bunch
I
of
don't.
them have Do Not Track. So it says,
Yeah.
when you go into the privacy setting on your browser, there's a little option there to turn on the Do Not Track function. Do Not Track, which will send an invisible request on your behalf to all the websites you visit, telling them not to track you. A reasonable person might think that enabling it will stop a porn site from keeping track of what she's watching, what she watches, or keep Facebook from collecting the addresses of all the places she visits on the internet, or prevent third party hackers she's never heard of from following her from site to site. According to a recent survey by Forrester Research, a quarter of American adults use Do Not Track to protect their privacy.
Right.
Our own stats at Gizmodo Media Group shows that 9% of visitors have it turned on. We've got bad news for those millions of privacy-minded people. Do Not Track is like spray-on sunscreen, a product that makes you feel safe while doing little to actually protect you. That stuff works great if the website on the other side says, hey, they said do not track, so don't track. But they don't have to. They can say, ignore this signal.
Yep.
And apparently that's what happens because they are in the business of collecting data. And I was talking about this with Ron day before yesterday. They went to the fair. And he was saying, I mean, while we were talking, he said, Amy just told me that Amy came in, his wife, and they were talking. And he said, Amy said that she's getting weird ads when she's going on the internet. I said, yeah, you need to use those containers. That will stop it. He said, why? But why is she getting it? I said, because you go to websites and you look at something and then it follows you. They figured that. He said, but she never looked at these things. She never even. He said, the only time that this stuff was mentioned is when we were at the fair. We sat down to eat and there were some friends of ours there and we were talking about these things. We never went on the web to look at them. He says, those phones are listening to you, aren't they?
That's an absolute fact.
Well,
look, I gotta say something about this phone listening stuff.
Yeah, do it.
It doesn't happen, man. It's a lot easier getting to this data in different ways than what you're describing. And the simplest way to just prove this is the case, right?
Yep.
Is if you have any of the speech recognition applications, those that listen in on you, right?
Yeah.
And those that are explicitly, right? Those that you can install and uninstall. Okay.
Yeah.
Install them on your phone. Don't use anything. Right. Do a test. Test your phone's battery life without them. Test your phone battery life with them. there's no difference. As long as you don't activate them, right, then the data isn't going outside. And the reason is simple. They have no use for this data because they do not have the ability of processing it properly yet.
But it doesn't mean they're not storing it now.
What?
Doesn't mean they're not storing it now.
And I would disagree. I think I'm disagreeing with part of what you're saying, because they do actually do word scanning. And if they find words that in their excuse means that you're either a terrorist or a conservative, they do can do additional processing on the data that they have derived from your cell phone.
So
now Gal, Ron did say that his wife does have that app that is listening. They're waiting for her to say something on her phone.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So that's why all of these apps, they need a specific wake word, and you can't even choose a generic one. You need to use one from their list. And the reason is they're looking for a specific. It's true, the mic is on. That is not being
debated
at all. Yeah. The mic is on. The mic is on because it needs to listen in to see if you're calling it, but it won't do anything because otherwise it'll just kill your battery completely, right? It won't do anything until it reaches the preset wave structure that is looking for the specific wake words,
like Siri,
like Google, like OK Google, right? Like Amazon Echo, computer, all of those. Only then it'll start streaming back, because most of the processing isn't done on the phone. It's done over the cloud. It's done in servers back in the system. So only then does it start streaming the data to the servers. It doesn't do it before that. It does hold a short buffer, right, while it records sounds to analyze that piece of information. So it might, when it's sending back stuff, it might send like a second or 2 seconds more than what you said before you said Siri or before you said OK Google, right? That's the technology. People tend to give them too much credit about their ability. I wish it was true, because then what we're describing of listening in on terrorists and stuff like that, that would really work. That doesn't work, unfortunately, not that way, right? I mean, they might be able to tap into something that's already in and listen in, but then another person needs to actively sit that on the other side and do something. A computer cannot do that for them. Not at this point, not with the technology that's out there right now. So that's why I'm saying, look, guys, it's a beautiful theory, right? It is so far from practice. I wish that technology would have been there, because then we as people, personal individuals, we could make use of it as well, and not only them. And it could play both ways. But no, that's not the case. Not yet, anyway. It's a lot easier to do cross-referencing. So first of all, the people that we talk about, right, they were at the fair. Most likely that they were discussing things that they've seen in the fair.
Mm-hmm.
The phones are tracking location, right? And you allow it to track location. When you install when you first set it up, the first question is, are you going to allow location tracking or not? There's that. It knows that all three people were together in the same location, right? That much they know, and they know that these people are connected via email communication or Facebook or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tracking all that information, that can be cross-reference. It's enough that one of them will go and search for stuff like that, right? And then the others will get that as well. And that's what happens. There's an excellent, you probably remember, I'm listening from time to time to a podcast called Reply All. They have an excellent episode where somebody asks about phone listening and stuff, and one of the reporter, one of the producers, he managed to get in touch with a bit with some people who know a bit behind the scenes of what's happening, and this is the description that comes. This is the most likely scenario, and that is the one that really adds up. It's never about the phone is listening. That's not the case. I understand the paranoia, but at this point it is paranoia. It might change, but right now this is the state. This is good.
I mean,
And the disclaimer here is that is your opinion and you're entitled to it.
yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I mean, Gal, you're saying that the technology doesn't exist. Not that we know of. It may also be that it exists and they're not telling us. Who knows? But I'm with you on the fact. I mean, you mean to tell me that you're using that technology to show somebody an ad about speakers when the thing, but you cannot take advantage of this to stop a terrorist who's planning to go and shoot up a school? You know, it's
Exactly.
yeah. I can see
It's
that
not there yet.
argument.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah. I can see
I'm
that.
not saying they're not working on it. Don't get me wrong, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying this isn't being thought of or not worked on, but the body of work right now that does exist, and these companies, they have amazing technology, right? I mean, we're in part here because we want to enjoy it and want to use it, right? Because we really like the potential of it, right?
Mhm.
But what people are talking about right now, to me, and Mike is correct. This is my opinion, my analysis of this. I have no factual. I cannot disprove, right? I cannot disprove the something doesn't exist. It's hard.
Mhm.
But this is my analysis. This is my way
Yeah.
of dealing with.
Yeah. And Donovan agrees with you.
Oh, thank you, Donovan.
Yep.
On that note, I
You have to leave. That's right.
really,
Yeah.
really need to leave. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a pleasure today. Bye, everyone.
Take care, guys.
I
Enjoy. Bye. There is something else here that people need to be aware of. Printer maker Epson is under fire this month from activist group after a software update prevented customers from using cheaper third-party ink cartridges. It's just the latest salvo in a decade-long effort by printer manufacturers to block consumer choice, often by disguising printer downgrades as essential product improvement. For several decades now, printer manufacturers have lured consumers into an arguably terrible deal. Shell out a modest sum for a mediocre printer, then pay an arm and a leg for replacement printer cartridges that cost relatively little to actually produce. And that is true. I mean, you can buy a printer, I mean an inkjet printer for on sale 39, 49, 59, you know, but then you pay a lot for the cartridges. And Epson did this before. They already went, I think, through one court case back in early 2000s, I believe, or maybe in the 90s, where when the cartridge got down to 33% or so, they were flagging it as it's done. And unlike other computers, other printers, that when they run out of ink, they just don't print. They it goes back and forth, but nothing is on the paper. With Epson, they actually stop the printer from working. So if they said that this cartridge is empty, you cannot make any. I mean, the printer is broken. And apparently they're doing it again. Nabil at the fairground, that's what he does. He's filling up ink cartridges. I was helping him doing this for years, as many of you remember. We met there. And there were cases where Epson did not work. Yes, then somebody came up with a resetter for Epson that you put it on the cartridge and it resets it. And they came up with a way to counter that too. But it's mainly Epson that's doing it. So if you do have an Epson printer and you see that you should be able to use that there's more ink in there, but you can't use it, that's why.
I've got a solution.
You what?
I've got a solution.
Yeah.
They just make their damn cartridges more cost effective.
Well, I mean, some of them do.
Charging so much.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the manufacturers charge a ridiculous amount for their freaking.
And the truth is, today, laser printers are so cheap, and the supplies are not that expensive either. In many cases, the supplies are cheaper than ink cartridges. Why use ink? I don't know. But yeah, that was a problem. It's an old problem. It's been like that for years and years, and they are at it again. Well,
I have a solution.
uh-oh.
Stop printing.
Uh-oh.
Don't buy an Epson printer. I don't.
Oh,
I
and
I
Epson,
don't even consider them.
right. Epson printers are not cheap either.
Well, it's the point being that
Yeah.
if they came out with, and maybe they have this, I don't know. I wouldn't buy it. There was a long time I would not buy a printer without talking with Nabil. But there are commercial models where the printers are much more expensive, and you can actually refill the toner and the
Mhm.
ink individually in tanks and things. Yeah, I'd pay 5 times the price to have that because I keep printers for a long time. I've got a Dell 5100 CN color laser sitting right here.
Mhm.
I mean, about 2 years ago, I bought it. I think I paid $50 for it used.
Mhm.
It's been a fantastic printer. And at one point, I was buying toner cartridges on eBay, including shipping, for less than $25 a piece, and the
Mhm.
cartridge lasts about 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, now they're about $10 a piece. So,
Right. That's the point.
but I'm getting ready to retire this printer. I actually bought the current version of it, and it's been sitting in a box a year and a half downstairs.
I've been using that one that we bought for, well, how much was it? $84 or something like
The
that.
Dell.
The
Brother?
Dell,
For the Dell, yeah.
the 17 something, 1870, 1780, something like that. I don't know. Don't use it much, just for color, and it's great. When you say print to it, bam, it goes. That doesn't happen with ink. If you leave an inkjet sitting there for months, and then you say, okay, yeah, I want to print that in color. Go ahead and print. Chances are it's not going to print all the colors. You have to go and you have to clean it and wash the cartridge, and it is.
How are your printers connected?
One is Ethernet, the one that I'm using for checks. The other one is actually connected via Centronics, right? Parallel, just like a regular printer cable, not even USB. And the color one, the Dell, is connected to another machine on the network, so I print to it through the other machine.
Wi-Fi printing has got to be the worst experience in the world.
I mean, it's Wi-Fi capable,
never-
but I never use it.
Never works.
Really?
Never works. It is the biggest pain in my. I swear to God, 5 days a week I'm playing with freaking Wi-Fi printing. I've gotten so close. I just said, stop printing. Stop printing. If you need to print something, go to freaking Office Depot. Stop printing.
Well,
Or,
I mean,
or get a new freaking printer because I'm so sick of disconnecting from Wi-Fi, typing in that whole damn password on that stupid
This
ass
is-
touchscreen on the front of it. Oh
okay,
my God.
you're talking about the Office, right?
Yes. These freaking
just-
HP
Just
piece of
just
crap.
get a cheap computer, cheap computer, anything, and connect it through USB, which it should have, and start and share it on the network, and that's it. You don't have a problem.
I don't know.
I know it's very convenient to use Wi-Fi.
It's not convenient. It's a pain in the ass.
No,
and it never.
I mean, but a lot of people, for a lot of people, it's working. There is something there that causing it to disconnect, and maybe something on the other side
it
of the
says it's connected.
wall.
You reboot the printer 3 times, it'll eventually work, and it's
I
just.
believe the problem was with the printers. We bought my daughter a Brother monochrome laser printer, totally wireless, because she doesn't have Ethernet in her room. Connected it to the network, and not only has it worked flawlessly, you can print from anywhere in the house. We can print to her printer. You can even print from my iPhone.
See, at home, I've got a Brother printer. I've got it hooked to a Linux server, and I'm running cups, and that has never failed me. I printed my insurance card from my iPhone 3 days ago. Worked like I haven't used I've used the wireless printing on. I've used the iPhone printing on it once. That was probably 2 years ago. Worked like a charm. So it's the freaking printer. I think it's the wireless. It's the wireless connection and the printer server inside of it. God almighty, is it a pain in the ass.
Now, Donovan is saying that one of the best monochrome printers they use is a Brother, but in general, he despises Brother. Now, I only use I mean, all three. No, 2 of them that I have are Brother and the one Dell. I've never had a problem with a Brother, and I went through. I mean, printers finally break, the gear break, something, and I replace it with the same one. I always look on Craigslist to find that particular one, and I buy it used. And I've got 2 of them sitting as spares. I mean, who knows, by now those gears may be dried out. But I never had a problem with that, Donovan. And the supplies are cheap. The toner, the drum. Uh, I don't know. I guess everybody has a different experience with these things, and that's fine. But the inkjet, forget it. And I don't know when is the last time I had an MFC. That's the multifunction. And
Yeah, but these are all these multifunctions, and they're just
and these are lasers or ink.
oh, they're freaking multifunction ink, and they're
Yeah,
junk.
I don't know that they actually have a.
They
No,
do.
they must have multifunction
Brother
lasers.
makes them.
Yeah. But Donovan, are you talking about ink or are you talking about laser multifunction? Because multifunction printer, yeah, it does each one of the tasks that it's tasked with about a third good. And they're not. No, you should have a printer. And
Yeah, I've
again,
got this Brother
Mhm.
1212 or whatever, flawlessly.
and it works. Yep, that's it.
Bought it at a
keep-
garage sale for $5 a couple years ago.
from up north, and it's not rusted.
Nope. No
Yeah.
salt on the bottom of it. Good to go.
Yeah.
Oh, I officially got my North Carolina tags this week. I'm a real
You are
Southerner
now. You are now one of the. You're now.
Where's Mike?
You're
He
now a
can't-
homeboy.
Mike can't yell at me. Mike can't. He's not here to yell at me about being a
What do you think, Mike?
phony. He's not here.
Oh, he's gone. Oh.
Call me a phony.
Oh, so Donovan says that he's talking about a laser MFC. Interesting. I don't know.
I just I don't know. I don't know. I just hate dealing. I just hate dealing with printers and just networking in general. It's just such a pain.
Comes with the territory, Nick.
It's just a full-time job with
Yeah, it
network.
is.
It's like,
It
why does this
definitely
stuff
is.
stop working? I can print one job and it'll work, and then the next job will say the printer's offline. How is that possible? I
Right.
literally print 2 jobs back to back, 2 different things.
I don't know. I mean, if I had that situation, like I said, get a cheap computer, some used computer, put Windows 7 on it and share it
Got
on the
I've
network
got a
and
little Lenovo netbook
anything,
that's not
anything.
worth
Yeah.
it. Not worth its weight.
Yep. I mean, I guess I'm trying to say Obama is coming back to even get us from the grave, but that's not the case. Sensitive information belonging to roughly 75,000 individuals were exposed after a government healthcare sign-up system got hacked. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, said on Friday. The agency said that anomalous system activity was detected last week in a direct enrollment system, which Americans use to enroll in healthcare plans via the insurance exchange established under the Affordable Care Act. I love how they say affordable, also known as Obamacare. A breach was declared on Wednesday. It's unclear why the agency, which is part of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, chose not to announce the incident sooner. Officials said the hacked portal is used by insurance agents and brokers to help Americans sign up for coverage and that no other systems were involved. The affected system has been disabled, but CMS said it hoped to restore it before the end of next week. Uh, you know, it's just amazing that services like that do not have somebody or somebodies that are just there to monitor and see when something is going wrong and stopping it before it goes wrong. I don't understand this. But people are just, I mean, it seems like people are just, why they didn't announce it? Trying to cover their ass, you know. Oh, cover their ass. Did I talk last week about the uh, report? I don't think so. The report from CenturyLink about what happened at the Colo, which
No, you talked about what happened. You
Yeah.
talked about that it
Well, I got
happened.
the report, and that report makes no mention of a generator.
A report for what?
From what happened, because I
Oh.
complained that the power went out and for 6 hours and blah blah blah. It's because of the hurricane. The crews could not get to the building.
Well, that's a load of crap.
And I'm saying, guys, I drove there twice. There was nothing wrong. Yes, the power outage was because somehow linked to the hurricane, which was not in our area. But I mean, there was nothing that would stop the crews from getting to the building to start the generator. Not a mention of a generator that did not come on. And I'm saying, yeah, this is just covering your ass. That's all it is. It's amazing what sometimes people will do just in order not to get in trouble. And I sure hope that behind the scenes, somebody got chewed up.
They didn't.
And that it will not happen again. I mean, too late for them to do it for me. I'm out of there. But it is amazing that a company like this will make this type of a report an official report. And I talked to two different people and told them about this. And I said, I want you to relay the information I'm giving you to management. And every time I used to talk with support, the next day I would get an email that says, please complete this survey, which they always ask you, okay, how was the rep, and is there anything else that we can do, and how satisfied and how likely are you to recommend us? And I still didn't get that. So it's obviously something really really bad going on over there now with CenturyLink owning that company.
I don't know why it is so hard for people to understand and believe that these companies no longer give a crap about you.
Right? They don't. I could not get anybody to get back to me, and I finally called the person that actually did my contract last year. She was very nice. She's a sales rep, not technical rep. But she was very nice. So I called her and I told her about all this. She said, do you mind sending an email with everything? And I did. And she called back and I put at the end, I said, and I'm not expecting to pay for another month. And she said, I understand you, but in the contract, it does say that you have to give us 30 days. I said, in the contract, it also says that you have to give me generator, uninterrupted
Oh, does it really?
power. She said, yeah. I said, so you see, so it's 1 against 1. So
That's called breach 1 justifies breach 2.
well,
Did
so
you get out of the other month?
she told me to submit a billing dispute, and she told me who to call, and I did, and I talked to that girl and explained it, who was very, very nice and kept on apologizing and everything, and she said, okay, I see all this. When would you like to be out? I said, well, sometime next week will be fine. And she said, I don't have the authority to do it, but I'm opening a ticket about this. I'm forwarding it to the right people. And I got the idea from her that yes, it will work, because she put the 24th, which is Wednesday, and she said how much difference in the money it's going to make and all that. It sounds to me like they will, but if they don't, it's not the end of the world. But still, at least it's the people on the back end that are trying to be nice, and the people that are on the front end that you deal with when there's a problem, they're the one that's screwing it all up. And I told her, I said, that whole incident here is because the tech was saying, we'll get to it when we'll get to it, and the way he said it. She said, I understand, and I want to apologize again. The first one that I talked with, the rep that told me to call her, she said, Amnon, is there anything we can do to keep your business? I said, no. I'll be crazy to. This happened now, and it'll happen again. I just don't trust it. And she said, okay, I just wanted to know. And she said, okay, so now tell me what. So yeah, covering your ass is write a report that will sound good to your management, but has nothing to do other than the fact, yeah, the power outage was caused by the hurricane. But that power outage could have happened anyway when it's perfectly nice outside, and the same generator will not come on just the way it didn't come on in this case. So it's yeah, Mike, I understand what you're saying, that how these companies don't give a crap about.
I'm just telling you, I
I
mean, the
know.
people say you're exaggerating, and I'm not. They
No.
don't care.
I know.
I have seen it from the inside in way too many situations because of the kind of work that I do. But I will also, it's just disgusting. I mean, they really don't care. They're more concerned with sorry about the noise in the background. My wife is printing on my printer while I'm on the air. But it just blows my mind how people don't care. They treat customers as what are called fungible commodities. If you lose one, there's one right behind you. I mean, of all things, Bojangles.
Yeah.
Restaurants are pet peeves of mine. Bojangles just really going down the drain. I mean, it's just terrible. I was in a hurry last week one day, so I said, okay, I'll stop by Bojangles. Line out the door. Lines all the way around. Well, they're just busy. No, stand there and watch how slowly the line's moving because the people behind the counter, they're training a new cashier, or that one of the biggest problems they run into, for example, is that the they get the orders wrong and they have to redo the orders, which clog up the line. It's just terrible.
Yeah, it's and at the same time they have to pay higher wages, right? Those same people that are messing up and screwing up the company are asking for more money.
No, well, that's true, but that's another situation that gets into a pretty interesting dynamic, because once they start paying more, that opens up the pool of potential employees, and it allows
Yeah.
them to get rid of the garbage and get better
Yeah.
employees. So these people who do a lousy job and insist on more money end up putting themselves out of a job.
True. That is true.
Of course, it's true. That's why I said it.
Nick, you're going to let him get away with that?
Nick,
What?
tell him,
Huh?
Nick.
What? Huh?
Sorry.
Anyway. So,
Anybody win? Anybody win on Mega Millions or Powerball?
I did. I won the Powerball.
How much did you win?
I think it was something like 950 million.
No.
so
that
we-
was the Mega Millions. It's now up to 1.6
Well, that's the
billion.
only one we play. We only play the big one.
I won $8 on my Powerball ticket.
Go big or
So
go home.
I got
What-
caught in
what-
a stupid
what
stupid
is-
tax.
what is it up to?
1.65 billion. The Mega Millions.
Jeez.
I don't know when the next drawing is. Tuesday, maybe. So,
Wow.
gotta play. Gotta be in it to win it. Tuesday. Yes, the 23rd. 1.6 billion. If you win, your cash option is $904 million.
Yeah, how much tax on that?
Probably what, 40%?
I-
you get about-
You know, I was always wondering, how does it work? I mean, if you win a big amount and you say, okay, now I'm going to donate half of it to charities, do you still pay taxes?
Yes, because you can only donate a certain percentage of your income each year and take a tax deduction for
and that's considered an income. So
Oh.
it's pure income.
Yeah, I know that, but I was wondering if you can.
I won $8 whole. I'm very excited.
Yeah,
That's a
right.
win.
What'd you buy? $100 worth of tickets?
40.
Oh.
Well, we'll see. Tuesday's coming up quick. Stupid. So what's it called? The stupid tax, right?
Well, tax on stupid.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but somebody's got to win.
That's my theory.
Mm-hmm. Ain't gonna be you.
Hey, you never know.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm almost get into the whole diatribe, but winning the lottery is
Just ruin your
almost
life.
always the worst thing that ever could happen to somebody.
Yep,
On-
ruin your
on-
life.
On Fox and Friends, she was saying that the odds of winning, and I can't remember what was the number that she put there, and she said, "How many zeros are in that?" And she said 16. Right away, she knew. That was
Well, it's not exactly a trick question, Amnon. You
It
can
is.
calculate it pretty
it is.
easily.
No, not when I really. Mike, how many zeros are in a billion? In a trillion, sorry.
In a trillion?
Aha, you see? She answered it. Bam.
Oh yeah, well she probably didn't prepare to go on the air.
No, she did. I'm sure, yeah. But I don't know that she prepared for them to ask this. I mean, it was interesting.
So what was her answer?
Huh?
What was her answer? What was the question and what was her answer?
The question was how many. Steve asked her how many zeros are in a, and I can't remember the word she
In a
used.
billion?
No, it was something with 16 zeros.
Quadrillion.
That
Yeah.
was the odds of winning the Powerball. And he came back and he said, "How
Yes,
many
but
zeros?"
somebody's going to win. Go spend your
Yeah.
entire retirement on it. It might be
Right.
you.
Yeah, I've invested my 401k into Powerball.
Yeah. Yeah, I did too. I took all mine out and put it in there. Well, that's a lie. I split it with crypto.
Imagine that there are 1 million people that are going to win it together. I mean, I don't know if 1 million. I mean, at this point, it's possible, and you're only going to get a little bit.
No, it could be one person.
It could be, absolutely, it could be.
Or it could be like Nick, throw the ticket away.
Yeah. I bought the tickets and threw them right in the trash because I knew I wasn't going to win.
Anyway,
Moreover, you could take all that money, put it in a radio station, and be broke in a year.
nah, Nick will turn
That's
around.
why I'm trying to win. That's why I'm trying to win the Powerball, Mike.
Inside joke.
All right. Anything else?
Let's see.
Anybody wants to talk about anything? 919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype.
Let's see. Let me check out my weekly news site, see if there's anything on here.
You're doing a show tonight, right?
Yeah, let's see.
By the way, there's going to be an also right after Nick's show. Keep listening because there's going to be a really interesting show about vaccines.
Oh,
that's true.
I like to listen before Nick's show.
Tonight. Hopefully you got it, Nick.
I think I did.
What's his name before Nick?
Tom Joyner.
Tom Joyner's before Nick.
Yeah, Joyner. I love
Joyner.
listening to him.
Tom Joyner, Civitas, me.
You can listen to his stuff at tomjoyner.net.
Now he's not going to listen to the radio station.
Well, nobody listens anyway, right?
That's a fact.
Right.
None of those 300 people at the event last night listens.
Nick
I
has
try
been
to listen
getting
as much as possible.
calls. It's been going fine. He's doing fine. All right. You have something, Nick, that you want to talk about?
No, I was just looking at the tech news of the
All
week.
right.
Nothing. It's just the typical. Oh, somebody leaked information, kind of garbage.
Yeah. Yep. All right, then. Well, thanks, everybody. Mike, Nick, Gal. I wonder what happened to Steve. Why Steve hasn't shown up in the last few weeks. I hope everything is okay there. But anyway. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together, guys. Practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like we said, tonight at 7, Nick Craig hosts Against the Norm on Wilmington Big Talker 106.7. And you can listen on TuneIn. And if you don't know how to find it on TuneIn, if you look on the left at computers2know.com or on nissancommunications.com, under links, you can click there and it'll take you directly to the TuneIn stream to listen. See you next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.